What's happening, guys? This is RRPG here, and I'm here to present another 2 cents video on the 2 cents block for you all. Let me start off this video by asking you a couple questions. How many of you are pretty excited for the next Zelda game that is being made for the Wii U? I bet so many of you are, as I know I am. How many of you are picking up the game for the year of 2015? I wish I could say that we all are, because the game just got delayed, sadly. Recently, the head producer of the Zelda series, Eiji Aonuma, gave an update on the development with how the next Zelda game is progressing really well, and he says that the team has discovered so many unique and interesting ideas that they wish to place in the title that making the game release in 2015 is no longer top priority. Aonuma has apologized to those when he said that getting the game out on store shelves before the end of this year was top priority, but making the perfect and ultimate Zelda game for the Wii U is being placed as the full focus. Delays for Legend of Zelda games are not that uncommon, as this happened to Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess, with many thinking that Skyward Sword was coming out in 2010 when it actually released a year later. Right now, this has left a few people feeling very salty towards this decision, while many others are alright with what Aonuma declared, and I am one of those people. I'm going to delve into my thoughts about why I feel the delay is a good move, and then give a rant for those who are out for Aonuma's blood. As I said, delays towards Zelda titles isn't anything new, as doing something like this is bound to have the development team work in enough quality assurance and insert new ideas that they can work out for a game to make it more appealing and playable in the long run. They pretty much have done this for about every single entry that has ever released, as releasing a game as fast as possible is only milking a franchise dry and not giving it the proper care it deserves. What if the game was originally going to come out within this year? Would everyone feel pleased about it? Some people might, but others who look at the game from a new angle will come to realize that the game is a betrayal on Nintendo's philosophy in game development. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. When it comes to Nintendo's game design philosophy, they come up with a base idea that can revolve a whole game around that starts out as a new IP, and as development progresses within the drawing board, they can see whether or not that base idea is best suited for any of their current franchises, or just to keep it as a new intellectual property altogether. That is how Captain Toad Treasure Tracker came to be, as it was originally going to be a Legend of Zelda spin-off, as the gameplay mechanics seemed like it was more best suited for a character like Captain Toad to begin with. Will everyone agree with them? No, not really. A vast majority thought it was wrong for Nintendo to put Fox McCloud as the main character in Star Fox Adventures instead of just having Rare keep it as Adventures of Dinosaur Planet as they originally wanted to go by, or whatever it was called. I might be a minority when it comes to this, but I am one of the few people who actually like Star Fox Adventures for what it was. Granted, it didn't feel like a Star Fox game per se, but it offered a fun twist where it wasn't terrible. If a game that has different gameplay elements from what was originally there from a previous entry, but has fun and addicting gameplay with great quality, it doesn't mean it's a bad game. And I don't care what the legion of fans that follow JonTron believe, as they think what he says is right, because I actually disagree with him from time to time. What I'm trying to say is that Nintendo is a company that takes more calculated risks instead of brash ones, as them rushing to try to get a new game out for a franchise that grows in scope for each installment would be suicidal on their part. In the end, I want a Zelda game, which I know will get a ton of replay value from me if the gameplay is solid, the ideas are intuitive and fun, and the quality assurance in the product is at the top of its class, just like every other game. If we started begging for more games to be rushed, we would see a franchise bring itself one step closer to milking it for the wrong reason, much like how many third-party developers and publishers like to bring about an installment of their popular franchises on a yearly basis. You know I'm talking about you, Activision, when it comes to Call of Duty, or even Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed. Do we really want Nintendo to take that approach? Of course not! Now, let us shift gears and commence me going into rant mode. I've seen some people who have put out videos sharing their disgust and heavy discontent about Zelda U getting delayed to 2016 that it really disgusts me from every possible angle. They go as far as saying that they will not buy the new Zelda game because of this, shout out a bunch of slander at Aonuma by calling him a liar, or even going as far to declare that they are out for his blood because of this. Here's the thing, guys. This crap has got to stop. Delays are not that uncommon, as they happen all the time. It's the same thing if they ended up getting canceled during production, as developers who actually care about putting out a decent product don't want to bring about something that is mediocre. This is not the 8-bit generation where games could be made and perfectly tested more quickly, as this generation has made game development go under a much longer working cycle. A franchise should revolve around newer ideas for every game, that the next one shouldn't feel a lot like the previous title, because doing that would create an oversaturation of entries that would feel unnecessary, worthless, and crappy if they were a common thing. I hate to break the news for you guys, but it shouldn't be that way. If something like that became a very common thing, then we would see a repeat of what happened back in 1983 when the video game crash came about, as there were many home consoles that played similarly and had games that were almost identical to each other, that it left many people bored out of their freaking minds that they didn't even care about the activity anymore. If Zelda games did that kind of thing, I guarantee you that many people would have turned their backs on it right about now. Same thing is said about the COD franchise, as most people have turned their back on it for sequel after sequel taking place within the Modern Warfare and Black Ops games right now. I just don't understand how people can be this fickle and want a game this badly if it doesn't embody the element of fun, joy, surprise, and entertainment, as a game should always do that. And Nintendo is a company that has always placed that into their number one spot of ideas within their definition of game development. Why is it that calculated risks and newer ideas to make a bigger and better game is a bane to those who don't want that type of thing? Video games are all about fun, guys. They are not simulations which they enforce you to do something that could potentially be dangerous in real life. What you are doing is crying because things are not going your way, as you don't know how much longer game development is in this day and age for consoles. I'm telling you that this has got to stop, because if you cannot accept that, then what the hell are you doing still playing video games? Still sad that Zelda U is no longer a top priority to come out in 2015? Whoop-de-freaking-do! You are only asking for the impossible, as them doing what you are specifically asking for is making them dig their own grave if they went that route. Game development as of today is much longer, more time-consuming, and very hard to try and maintain a strong level of quality, and delays are not that uncommon. We have so many other games from Nintendo coming out on the Wii U for 2015 that I probably wouldn't be able to finish those before Zelda U, so why is it that you only care about one game? Enjoy Yoshi's Woolly World when it comes out. Enjoy Mario Maker when it releases. Enjoy Xenoblade Chronicles X as that game comes out in 2015, as it is definitely a lot bigger in scope when compared to Zelda. Zelda U is most likely coming out in 2016, and there is nothing we can do about that. Deal with it! We are at an all-time high with game publishers pushing out games that are in the mode of them being broken at launch but fixed later, and that is highly unacceptable for today. However, what I find to be extremely baffling is that Aonuma declared that they will not show off any new footage of Zelda U at E3 this year. That doesn't make any sense, because you figure that we would at least get some more information about the game to get us even more hyped up. For every Zelda game since Twilight Princess, they showed off the next Zelda game for every year at E3 for 2 years straight before it got released. They did the same thing with Skyward Sword, as 2009 had the first concept image of the game showcased at Nintendo's E3 Roundtable, and then the abysmal failure that was Skyward Sword's first gameplay demo that took place a year later, and then 2011 held a special presentation for the franchise's 25th anniversary. Now, I guarantee that they'll do the same thing for Zelda U next year, but no appearance for this year when the game is amongst AAA development is very questionable. To be fair, they probably wanted to hold off on showcasing the game at this year's E3 because of Aonuma making the announcement that the team wants to input newer ideas into Zelda U. On one end, I like that, as I always want to embrace the element of surprise when a game looks very polished even for a showcase demo. But the other side of me finds it appalling that no appearance for the game at E3 2015 is imminent. This surely does not mean that we won't get a glimpse of the game for 2015, as there is still a chance that we'll be seeing more of it during a Nintendo Direct, or possibly even at the 2015 Gaming Awards hosted by Jeff Keighley. Again, no appearance at the biggest gaming convention next to the likes of Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show is a massive letdown. While I believe that the delay to 2016 is something I agree with, but this is one I do not at 100%. However, I believe we'll still see a big reveal for it for 2015, but it just won't be at the LA Convention Center. Such a shame. Alright guys, that is all I have to say on the matter. I want to hear from all of you. Do you agree with Aonuma with him delaying the new Zelda game for newer ideas that will be beneficial to the overall product? Or do you wish for it to be out in 2015 like he originally had planned? Make sure to rate this video as well as leaving your positive and negative feedback down in the comments. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button underneath that video, as more support from you guys means that more content is coming from me in the future that you won't even find anywhere else. Until next time, this is RRPG signing off by saying Godspeed and game on, gamers. Have a good one.
You